How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining me with another math lesson with Mr. Woodford. Right now, what I would like to do is dive into the final lesson of Unit 2. We've been talking about order of operations. We even added in PEMDAS and we practiced following the four steps to solving it, right? Parentheses or grouping, brackets, whatever that grouping looks like. Exponents, remembering that it's not just multiplication of whatever that number is. It's saying take that base number, multiply by itself, how many times. Then we dealt with multiplication or division, whichever one comes first, left to right, and addition or subtraction, whichever one comes first, left to right. Today, what I want us to do is dive into our final lesson in Unit 2, and it's called Evaluating Algebraic Expressions. Now, it has a lot to do with PEMDAS. We're going to dive into it. It deals with algebra a little bit. But as usual, let's take a moment, pause the video if you need to, and work on the bell work. Awesome. So let's go through it. So we have been practicing this concept for a while, and I'm hoping by now being able to solve for PEMDAS expressions is rather easy for you. Let me go through this with you, so that way you're able to see exactly what needs to be done. And once again, you'll notice that I'm going to do it step by step, so that way if you end up confused, you can say, okay, what did he do? What did he change? All right. If you notice, this is 2 to the third power. That's 2 times 2, which is 4 times 2. That gives me 8. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is division, because it's division and multiplication here, but it's left to right. And I end up with 5 as my answer. Okay. Take your time. If you need to look at that again, pause the video now so you can review and say, what did he do? How did he do it? Right? I went step by step. I was getting rid of one thing at a time. So for example, parentheses, exponents. Now it's not multiplication, because that's not how PEMDAS works. It's multiplication or division, whichever one comes first, left to right. So division came first. I did division, then I did multiplication. All right, let's look over here. Okay, now I would like to remind you guys, always go back and check your work, because I could have made an error. So let's go back and check. 2 to the second minus 10 divided by 2, that's 5 to the second minus 10 plus 2. Okay, exponents, 2 times 2 is 4, 5 times 5 is 25, minus 10 plus 2. Left to right, because it's only subtraction, addition, so left to right. 4 minus 25, negative 21. Minus 10 plus 2, negative 21 minus 10 is negative 31. Plus 2 gives me negative 29. All right, so this is how we go through PEMDAS. All right, and if you need more practice on this, please feel free to stay at the school during extra help time, so I can give you more problems for you to practice and get a better grasp of how to do PEMDAS problems. Once again, these are with integers, just so we're all on the same page. Notice this unit is called multiplying and dividing integers. So we're only focused on integers. There's not fractions in here. There's not decimals in here. It's solely us working and grabbing an understanding of how to mess around with integers. That's why even in this unit here, the use of a calculator is optional. All right, let's dive in. All right, we've seen this same visual for a while. We understand that's the essential question, and it's very important to do it in order, because if you don't do it in order in this particular sequence, it will give you the wrong answer. Now, for today, what we're going to do is we're going to do something called evaluating algebraic expressions. Why are they called algebraic? Because they're not numerical anymore. They have algebra, they have letters, they have variables. And once again, a variable is a substitute for an unknown number at the time. In this case here, they're going to tell you what these variables are equal to. And we're going to go in and we're going to substitute the variables in, and then evaluate, and then get a simplified answer. For example, the first one here says z minus parentheses y divided by 3 minus 1. And then it says when y is equal to 3 and when z is equal to 7. So what I like to do is I would start off my problem here by just rewriting what I see. I'm going to write off z minus parentheses y divided by 3 minus 1. I'm just going to rewrite it again just to be able to see it, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, what is z? Z is 7, so this is really 7 minus parentheses. What's y? Y is really 3. And now if you look, now there is no more algebra. Now there is no more variables. Now that I substituted them in, now I can go in and simplify it. So I'm going to remember the order of operations, which says parentheses first. And when I look inside the parentheses, I see two operations in there, division and subtraction. So what do I do first inside the parentheses? I still think about the order of operations here. I'm going to take care of division first and then take care of subtraction and then go outside of these parentheses. So first let's deal with inside the parentheses. 7 minus 1 minus 1, right? Which is really 7 minus 0. So my answer is 7. Okay, I'll do that again. 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. 1 minus 1 gives me 0. Now that I'm done with parentheses, I can really get rid of the parentheses here. I can just make it 7 minus 0. I don't even need to have parentheses anymore. Okay, we know 7 minus 0 is just 7. All right, take your time. The biggest difference from this worksheet and the previous ones is that you're evaluating and that you're actually plugging in. You're substituting values for these letters. So let's look at this one here. Once again, I'm just going to rewrite it to make it a little bit bigger. It says p to the second power times m divided by 4. Okay, and now I just need to figure out, okay, well, what is p? What is m? Well, it tells me m is 4, p is 7. So I'm going to put this like this, 7, and I'm putting it in parentheses because I want to make sure everything that p is to the second power. Now, I want to be honest with you guys. If p was negative 7 here, it would be parentheses negative 7 squared. Because I want you to understand, it's not negative 7 squared like this. All of p needs to get squared, okay? So that's the reason why I put parentheses. I know you're like, why are you put parentheses? I want to show that that whole number, everything of p, is going to be raised to the second power. So 7 squared multiplied by m, and I'm going to put that in parentheses as well, divided by 4, okay? Now I have everything substituted out. It looks wonderful. Now let me go in and begin to work on it. Now, according to the order of operations, right, I need to deal with the exponents first, right? I need to deal with the exponents first. So what are my exponents here? My exponent is to the second power, 7 squared. 7 squared is giving me 49, right? It's really 7 times 7. Notice it's not 7 times 2, okay? I'm just going to bring everything down as I always do. Now I need to do left to right. Why? Because it's only multiplication and division, and whichever one comes first, left to right is what we end up doing. All right. So what I end up getting here is 49 times 4 is going to give me 196. And then I'm going to divide 196 by 4. Okay, I'm going to divide 196 by 4. And what I'm going to end up getting is 49, I believe. My answer. Now that's really easy because I can notice that multiply by 4 divided by 4, it's going to go right back to 49. Okay, but this is how we end up going back and forth and being able to solve a problem like this. Okay, take your time. If you need to look back over what I did in both A and B, feel free to do so. Your biggest goal as you go to work on the independent practice and your homework is to identify what the letters represent, plug them in, and then from there, be able to simplify and get the answers, okay? All right, that is it for today. Once again, I wanna thank you so much for joining me for another math lesson. If there's any questions, as usual, put your questions inside of Google Classroom. I can't wait to see them. Can't wait to learn with you in class. You guys are intelligent, you guys are awesome. Enjoy your day.